the fluid in the truck that was never tested.
Yeah, they did find that there was fluid on the console, and it seems like maybe on there was a lot of fluid. That was one of the things that stood out in my mind. Is they said there was a lot of fluid of some sort in the cab of the truck, and because we were discussing, could that have been where the actual murder took place, or did we think? But that fluid, if something did happen, like she was in the bathtub, because we know she was getting ready for work, or that she would have been at some time prior to 3, when she normally, 2:45 to 3 when she left. So if she had been in the bathtub and say, some way water was introduced to this girl's lungs, okay, say if the body was carried down or whatever, it got into the truck or wherever, the Lake Bastrop, because all that had to, the fluid just had to go into her lungs. So her head could have been held under, something. But then that fluid was found also in the cab of the truck, and then it was found in her lungs. But yet the DNA, there was no testing done on this fluid, and so that, again, that doesn't make sense, and that wouldn't happen in our case today.
And for those that don't know, the truck is no longer available. Jimmy Fennell got it back, within 24 hours? And then he sold it right away.
What, a week?
Yeah, in a week, the truck was sold. So there's no way they could ever go back. Although if the truck is still out there, they could find it, then they could go and do that.
If anybody knows where this truck is, please contact us or contact the authorities. Absolutely. It was a red Chevy truck?
We're going to have to look it up, aren't we? I just go by red truck all the time.
Yeah, it was the red truck. But listen, I will double check on the year model, and if we could track down where that truck went, maybe the VIN number, any information I can get, I will actually post that on the Facebook page. So if anybody has information,
it would be interesting to know what year that truck was, like if it was new or not, because since this case is over 2 decades old, or 2.5 decades old.
Yeah. And then the thing I wanted to mention, that I recall that Jimmy Fennell was given a polygraph test on this.
Yes.
And he didn't fare so well. It came out inconclusive, or he completely failed.
No, he was given 2 different polygraph tests at Gary, and he failed both of those. Glad you brought that up, because the other thing that is pertinent to that is that Texas Rangers were called in to come in and assist with this investigation. And Rocky, I think you pronounce it Wardrow, he interviewed Jimmy Fennell on more than one occasion. He did not answer the questions consistently for this Texas Ranger. And this Texas Ranger was said to have really hammered on Jimmy Fennell, because it seems like that because of the 2 failed polygraphs and then the inconsistent answers, this Ranger was really one of the people that did think that Jimmy Fennell had something to do with this. That's big, because, those Rangers, they seem to know what they're doing, and they take care of business. So my hat's off to the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, for sure. They're a good bunch, aren't they? It's unbelievable of all the things that have changed and things that aren't making sense. And it's understandable now why so many people are coming to back Rodney Reed, and they want to get DNA done. A federal lawsuit just recently in August was filed by Reed's lawyer, stating his rights are being violated because the courts are denying requests for DNA testing of crime and science evidence. So hopefully they will get the okay, and we can find out what's going on and get some more information, and maybe see if this is Rodney's really is guilty.
That what I understand, Rodney Reed's the new lawyer that is from the Innocence Project. So, by the way, anyone that's interested is welcome to go to the
innocenceproject.org and search for Rodney Reed.
And that also is on our Facebook page. And so if you're interested in looking at that, guys, go for it. It's going to be interesting. But anyway, the lawyer from the Innocence Project, they had requested that the DNA be retested. They were denied that. So that's why this new suit has been brought up, because his civil rights, they are suing the city of Bastrop because his civil rights have not been protected, and And so that's the new avenue for this process. And so we're just hoping for answers. We want justice not only for Stacey Stites and for her family. We want them to be able to rest assured in knowing that the right person is behind bars. And we want the answers to these questions, not only for them, but for everybody who's followed this case. Because, guys, this has been, you're talking about over 20 years. And in the beginning, her family completely backed Jimmy Fennell. And I'm going to kind of close on this note. There's two things. Now, her family has finally come to terms with that the right guy is potentially not behind bars. When Rodney Reed's family went and they did a little demonstration in Austin at the governor's mansion, and one of the things that they did was they read a letter that was from a cousin of Stacey Stites. And it just said, listen, this is coming from Stacey Stites' family. We do not think that Rodney Reed is guilty. And then and listen, guys, y'all can see this over on the website. We've got all of this listed. And it listed the family members. And I think that all of her family in the beginning supported that the right person was behind bars until all of this new information started coming out. Well, now, after looking at this, they're like, okay, something's wrong, and we don't have the right guy here. So they are supporting this new movement to take another look at the Rodney Reed, the evidence and everything, and they're hoping that he'll get a new trial and that the right guy will get behind bars. The last thing I'm going to say is that on our next episode, we are going to talk about one of the things that was major in changing the attitude, not only of probably her family, but maybe the city of Bastrop, who has now rallied around Rodney Reed and is, trying to support him. It's Curtis Davis, who was one of the friends of Jimmy Fennell, did a CNN interview. Okay, I'm not going to say too much about that other than that we're going to be taking a look at that. We're going to see what some of these things that he said in this interview, and we're going to talk about that next time. So I cannot wait to finish up on this case. And so we're going to take a look at that. We're going to talk about that next time, and I look forward to it. So I hope that we are traveling down some of the right avenues. Right,
and that's not the only thing we're going to talk about. Me and Stacey went and talked to Sandra Reed, who was Rodney Reed's mother. Wonderful woman. And while we were there, one of the members of the family came over and they asked me a question. And they asked me, did you know this and that? And so we are going to be talking about another missing woman, Rachel Cook. And if there is a connection between Rachel Cook and Jimmy Fennell.
Yes, ma'am.
That's going to be interesting.
To it.
So if we have any questions, yes, go ahead.
Yes. Ladies, I enjoyed it. And audience, we hope that you're going to tune in next time.
Right. And if you have any questions or would like to be on our show, just send a message to us to crimetimemail@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, you can find us on Facebook under Crime Time Talk. Go look for that. Go look for the pictures. You can see lots of stuff there. And I think that's about it. That's it. We're going to see you next week. All righty. Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
The views expressed on this podcast are personal opinions only. While all attempts are made to present accurate information, it may not be appropriate for your specific circumstances, and information may become outdated over time. Crime Time Podcast does not assume any liability with regard to results based on the use of information provided here. Furthermore, advertisers, commentators, and linked sites are solely responsible for their views and content, which does not necessarily represent the views of Crime Time. We welcome you to download and play the podcast and share with others for personal use. Please acknowledge the Crime Time Podcast as the source of the material. You may not, except with our express written permission, distribute or commercially exploit the content. The information is provided by Crime Time Podcast. We endeavor to keep the information up to date and correct. We make no representations or warranties of any kind, express or implied, about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to the website or the information, products, services, or related graphics contained on the website for any purpose. Any reliance you place on such information is therefore strictly at your own risk. Thank you.